Welcome, everyone, to the Winning Together podcast. Today, this Winning Together podcast is hosted by Shay. I knock it out of the park, Aslet. And I've got the client today on the Winning Together podcast, are sponsored by the I Am Recovery team and machine, and we dive into recovery with coaches, clinicians, clients, parents, Santa Claus, elves, doesn't matter. We get into it. And today we have the client, JRock. How you doing, JRock?
I'm doing really great.
JRock Recovery.
I'm doing amazing. I mean, I'm about to get my year this week. Just got a house with some really great, amazing, I'm really grateful for. Life's really good.
Tell me more.
Okay.
Because we need it when you tell me how good it is, and then we contrast the pain that you have, the blood you have poured to get here, then we'll understand how juicy and how sweet it really is.
I guess the fact that I know that I'm doing everything I need to be doing. I'm doing the next right thing. I am putting myself first when I have to put myself first, but also supporting others when I know I need to support them.
I think everyone listening, we've got the wisdom of the young blood here today. And I think that's one of the messages you really wanted to make sure came across is you don't need to get old to get real and get wise and recover.
Yeah, that's definitely something I wanted to talk about is the fact that I'm only 22 years old. And I separated myself from drugs so much that I don't even see myself with a life with it anymore. Forever grateful for that, I don't experience triggers very often or cravings or nothing like that. I'm able to stay on the right track and think.
Well, and considering that maybe the last 6, 7, 8 years of your life, drug culture dominated what you did, who you chose to be around, what you chose to do, where you chose to spend your money, how you chose to spend your time. It drove everything. Everything.
Yeah, I grew up in a family of addicts, so addiction was pretty much everything I knew since I was a little kid. I grew up with my grandma who liked to pop pills and use crack, and my dad was on meth and heroin. He wasn't in my life. My grandma tried to keep me away from him. And then I had my mom who she was in prison for most of my childhood.
Wow. Who did the raising?
My grandma did, my great-grandma.
Great-grandma?
Yeah, she's pretty much the only one in my family that's never used drugs or alcohol.
Brothers or sisters?
I have 2 brothers. I don't live with them or really talk to them very much. They're stepbrothers, but one of them lives in Sheridan, Wyoming, and the other one lives with my dad. But I tried not to go around my dad very often just because I know that he's struggling with addiction still, and I know that I need to put my recovery first.
Often boys, and as you become a young man, connecting with your dad is painful. It's also compelling and drives you to want and desire that tremendously. How have you made peace with that?
I guess from loving them from a distance, because I know that's the best thing for me right now. I'm not ready to have a full-on relationship with my dad, or really my mom. I know that I need to love her from afar too, because I know that she's still using, she's still struggling, but I know that she's still doing her best in the moment, and that's all that matters.
That's a big deal. So coming from that culture and that family dynamic, how come you are here right now in this seat instead of out there doing that?
Because I love myself, and I don't want to have drugs in my life. I really don't, I know that I'm capable of so much more, and I know that this is where I need to be. This is where my higher power chose me to be, and I'm doing everything I need to be doing right now.
Wow. I've had the opportunity to work with you as a coach, and I've contributed 1% to your overall life. You've done so much work with therapy and group and through programs. Anyone who knows you knows a couple things, that when they think about you, they think about big energy, fun, want to have a good time, positive, directly connected deeply to your higher power, and solving problems with love, finding the solution with love. Love now is such a core axiom of who you are. And we know for a time there was no love in you, in your life. How did you awaken this love from within? You know, there's so many things about us that are just dormant, and they're always there, but until we awaken them or allow them to come into being, they don't affect our lives positively or negatively. But you've awakened this really force of nature in you of love. How?
I think I got it from my grandma. Even in my active addiction, I loved people to death. I've had a lot of love in my heart, and I've always had a big heart. And so it pretty much comes natural to me.
Tell me about the connection with your higher power.
That has definitely been the most important thing in my recovery is spirituality. I've been through 9 programs, and in the first 7, I didn't even understand what the spirituality meant. And once I had a connection with God, and I knew that I didn't have to do this alone, and I know that God's with me all 24/7, then I have faith. I had to fake it till I made it, praying multiple times a day when I didn't believe, but eventually it just became something I had faith in.
Were you raised with a faith or a religion or belief system?
Well, I was baptized Catholic at a young age, and I did go to church with my grandma for a few years until she got super sick, and then kind of just fell off of it, and it was never really my thing afterwards.
And then what happened?
Well, she died. I think that's one thing that really paused my faith is that she died in my arms, and her very last words were, "Please kill me." And I was really I went into shock for multiple years. It was very hard.
This is a young teenager?
I was probably 11 or 12, yeah.
And she had a chronic illness?
Yeah, she was in and out of the hospital for 2 months, and they just sent her home to be on her deathbed.
And was there a grandpa there, or was it you?
No, my grandpa died when I was really, really young. Okay. I don't even know what age.
Were you the man of the house at this time?
I wouldn't really say that. I mean, my mom was back in my life around then, and I did. My mom, because I was old enough when my mom went to prison, she still had custody of me, but my grandma was taking care of me. Yeah, so at that time, my mom met this amazing guy named Nate, and we moved in with him up in West Jordan. I knew my grandma was really sick and she was dying, and it was probably going to be her last night. So we drove over there, and everything was cool. She didn't technically die in my arms, but I was the very last person that she talked to. It really did scar me, those words. I'll never forget them. On the way home, driving home, we got the call that my mom's mom, she called me and told me that she passed away. And it was extremely, extremely difficult.
Why did she say, "Kill me"?
Well, her face was pretty much swollen shut. She had 6 gallons of water surrounding her heart, and she was just extremely, extremely sick and in a lot of pain.
What did you make that to mean then as an 11-year-old? Was there a God? Was there not a God? Is it hopeless? Did you just not feel anything for years?
Exactly. I didn't feel things for many years. I don't know, I became numb and stuff. And there's part of me that thinks that if my grandma was still alive, I would have never started using drugs. But then I also don't believe that at the same time, There's nothing about my life I would ever change. I'm forever grateful to be an addict. The stuff I get to learn in recovery, most people don't ever get to learn. And I'm very grateful to become an addict.
So tell me, what are some of the things that you have come to know or learn because of your choice to use drugs and get in recovery and stick with it?
How capable I am, and how my gift is making connections with others.
Oh.
And that I truly am able to help people, If I never went into recovery, I wouldn't know that I'm able to impact people's lives.
For a young man who had a learning disability, ADD, broken family, to see himself now as capable and valuable, what better treasure is there than that?
I don't know. I just know that it means a lot to me, and that my life, I don't know, that my life is perfect right now. And that's how I see it.
Tell me about that. When you say it's perfect, why do you feel that way? Because I know, like, I feel that feeling, and I know why you say that, because I feel the same about my life. Because a lot of people are going to listen to that and say, that's impossible. He's just, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's true for you. And your life reflects that. 1 year, you moved out this week on your own. You were living you're in a house with some good guys. You've been at a job for months now. Not only are part of the I Am Recovery program, you've become a leader in it, and people look to you as, oh, that's how it can be.
I think a lot of it is that my life's not boring anymore. I remember telling my mom a few years ago.
Ooh, interesting.
I remember telling my mom a few years ago that I couldn't see myself ever being sober. I think life is so boring. But the fact is, I really didn't know how to have fun. And once I learned how to have fun, and I kept learning how to have fun, it doesn't necessarily have to be with me spending money or nothing like that. It's just having fun in the moment. And I truly do know how to do that.
How crazy is that? You're a fun-loving kid that had to get to a place where he had to relearn how to have fun.
It's also a cool thing is that I know how to release my inner child, you know? Having connection with your inner child, I think, is also very important in recovery.
Okay, so tell me how JRock does fun, and tell me how JRock allows the child to come out and play. Not like Chucky, but I mean like fun. So this is super important, and in research they've shown that having fun is essential to being joyful and fulfilled. So this is the Winning Together podcast. We're insanely focused on application. We don't talk about stuff just to talk about stuff. So tell me, how does the JRock do fun, and how does the JRock let the child come out and play hard?
I think it all comes natural to me, to be 100% honest. Eventually, it just became a regular thing, you know? Maybe I never knew how to grow up. Like, I grow up when I need to grow up, or at least I adult when I need to adult. Other than that, I think that I'm just super connected to my inner child, and I think a lot of it has to do with me becoming my true self.
For a long period of your teenage years, you put so much value on what people thought about you. And for you to tell me that it's coming natural, that means you've shed that putting so much value in what people think or perceive. How did you get to that place where you care more about how you feel and how you see yourself than others?
I think in my active addiction, I always had to be the people I hung out with to survive. And that's just how it was, you know. But coming into recovery, I learned who I really was. And that's something that's very, very important.
So who are you?
I'm JRock. I always do my best. I love everybody around me. I'm supportive. And I can be there for the people around me, you know. I put myself first when I need to put myself first. But other than that, I know that I care about everybody around me, so I'm able to help them out too. And I'm able to give back in the community, make people laugh, help people have fun, teach people in recovery what recovery has done for me.
One thing I'll totally notice you for is early on, something you've really adopted is I get my needs met by helping other people get theirs. And I remember you saying that for at least there was for a period for I think months where whenever you came to a meeting or whenever you came to do any group work, you always kind of had this prayer, the thought that I'll go and I'll give and I'll help other people, and I know I'll get what I need out of it.
Whenever I pray, I always ask God to help me help somebody else, or to help me have great feedback. You know what I mean? Whenever I give feedback in groups, I don't just speak out of things I've never done. I always speak with something I've related to or something that's helped me. That's what makes me genuine.
What's better than being authentic JRock?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing, right? I remember you telling me about this pivotal moment in your recovery progress, and it was it was a second or third program maybe, and you just couldn't get your head to just quiet up a hot second so you could absorb information or listen or hear. It was just so much noise inside your head. And then I don't know if you were challenged or you decided to do it, but then it was like 2 or 3 days where you didn't talk one word. And that really, something happened. The voices in your head, they realize that you're in charge and they're going to zip it because now you're going to put the voice forward that you want to listen to.
I think I was 17 when I went to that treatment center. And yeah, that was definitely a spiritual awakening. It totally changed my whole life.
Because you were a punk, huh? You were totally there to put
asshole.
on the show. Yeah.
I didn't know how to have control of my anger. I lashed out on absolutely everybody around me. People were scared to hang out with me. And it was never something that I'm proud of now. You know what I mean? I was on probation facing felony charges, and they were just going to send me back to jail or send me DT until I was old enough to go to jail. They gave me one more shot, and they came up with this thing called a social fast where I didn't talk to anybody for 3 days. Some magical way, you know, it's obviously a God shot, but it rewired my whole brain. And after that, I went up phases faster than I've ever seen before. I mean, within a month and a half, I was running groups.
What was it about that social fast that was so game-changing?
I believe it was finding something I didn't know about myself. You know, there was some screw loose in my brain, and I was able to screw it back in.
Yeah, something in this stillness allowed you to see yourself truly, something new about who you are, huh?
Definitely.
That's a big deal.
You know, I may not have stayed sober after that. I may have had reservations, but it did totally change my outlook on how I should treat people.
And to see yourself to see yourself differently because of that social fast. And fasting is so powerful. It's hard, yeah, but what isn't? Is it harder to be in a program causing havoc, or is it harder to learn how to sit with it? And then in a month and a half, you're teaching groups. You would have there was no concept in your head that you were a teacher, and then you were teaching groups.
People started to like me. I was able to help other people. I mean, I started the whole social fasting there. Like, there was their first time ever doing it. After I got out of the treatment center, I had a few friends that were still in there, and they told me they started doing it for others, and it started helping others, and that's an amazing thing.
Nice. The JRock social fast. Take the challenge. Tell me about how you talk to yourself now. How is that improved or different than a year ago?
I've never really struggled with self-love problems or self-esteem issues. I know that having a healthy mind is very important, you know, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy connection. Those are the things that truly do help me when it comes down to that.
Was it more than lack of self-acceptance or self-worth then instead of self-love?
Well, I think self-worth is definitely something I had to learn. And it was definitely something that took a while. You know, I didn't really understand it. I knew I think that self-love, self-acceptance, self-worth, they're all different, you know. I know that self-esteem or self-acceptance is a lot better than self-esteem. And if you can accept who you are, you know, and that you can't change anything when it comes down to like your looks or your personality, you know, like if you want to be your true self, then you got to be your true self.
That opens up so many doors. It's crazy. And the more I've seen you just be who you are, I don't know if there's anybody in the program that is really doing their part that you haven't made a connection with that's positive.
Exactly. I mean, I was gifted with connection. Like, once I had a connection with myself, it came so easy and almost natural to have connection with others. I know that a lot of people look up to me, you know. The only thing I can do now is just set an example and show them what recovery has done for me, because I haven't quite finished the steps, but I definitely know that I'm pretty much on the 12th step, because at this moment, like, all I can do is just give back and help others by showing them what recovery has done for me.
Yeah, and as life throws you different curveballs and you level up, there'll be different steps you have to go back to learn or see them or get more skillful. When you talk about connecting with your brain and your heart and your body, that's been another quote unquote secret of your progress and transformation is you've taken your physical health seriously and you've taken responsibility for it, huh?
Yeah, exercise is something I discovered in recovery this go around. and it's something I never thought I'd get into. But I know that it definitely helps with spiritual connection, your connection with your own body, connection with your own mind, your emotions, and it finds balance. It seriously does, and I never thought it would, but it definitely is one of the biggest things in my recovery.
So those of you listening, to put some visual, you've got this 6 foot, what, 3, 2?
6 foot.
6 foot, huge shoulders, V waist, coming down, tall, lean, and to see yourself now as that guy who's got biceps and who's got shoulders and who feels confident in that, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Confidence is something that I guess I lacked in the past, but it definitely has built my confidence.
How do you build your confidence? How does one build their confidence?
I guess for viewing myself a different way, not viewing myself as that skinny kid that used to be, that Skeletor people used to call me in my addiction.
Skeletor. Oh, wow.
So if I was able to, it took me a lot of training, don't get me wrong. I was eating 5 meals a day, like 10,000 calories a day to get bigger, you know what I mean? And I worked out every single day for 7 months, every single day. And I took maybe 5 rest days the whole time, and it definitely paid off.
Wow. That's a crazy nickname. And for you to flip it and turn into until I transform, and that doesn't even resonate. That doesn't even register that somebody would look at you that way. It's incredible.
Yes, it is.
How have you handled that transition of moving from totally focused on your recovery to then now working and doing recovery and working and doing recovery and working out and working your recovery, working out, working? How have you been able to expand that without collapsing on into who you used to be?
I think a lot of it has to be with mindfulness. For me, I'm very good at living in the moment. That definitely helps, not future tripping, not being stressed. It definitely helps. Like stress, I know that's a big reason people that relapse. I really don't get stressed very often. And a lot of it just has to do with because I'm really present. I practiced mindfulness for the last year, and it's definitely a big aspect of my recovery too.
Well, and some of that, I think that presence, the reason you give yourself permission to practice that is you also practice putting trust in God that He will take care of it. You're doing your part and it'll work out.
Exactly. God points me in the right direction. He pointed me to this program. He helped me when I get sober, I was very blessed when the week I got sober, I had 2 heroin overdoses and I pretty much flatlined both times. And I got some sleep after a 9-day binger. When I woke up, I just had absolutely no desire to use anymore. And I know that's not my work. There's no way that's my work. I remember that same week, I was saying that I was going to shoot heroin until the day I died.
Wow. That is a big swing.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy. But I still remember that whole week. I don't think I'll ever forget that
You
whole
better not.
week.
If you do, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely, because I know God gave me this chance, He gave me the gift of having no desire anymore. I was able to separate myself from drugs so far away that I don't even see a life with them anymore. That's something that I know that I need to keep my recovery very strong, and I need to keep it first priority because that's a gift that many addicts wish they could have. And it's something I wish I could give you guys.
Without the flatlines and without the overdosing.
Yes, exactly.
You love your mom and you want to be there for her, but as you try and give her that gift of a future without drugs and she's not quite there yet, how do you make that work? How do you still give your best? How do you love her even though she's not ready? Or she's doing it her own way or at her own pace?
By doing everything that I can to show my mom that I do still love her, at the same time as living my own life. And I know that she's very proud of me. I just got my first house, I never thought that would happen. I remember right after we signed for it, I called my mom telling her that we just got a house, and she texted me back saying, I'm having a proud mommy moment right now. And that was definitely huge because, I mean, I never thought that I'd have a house and I'd like move straight into a house, you know, maybe apartment or something, but to share a house with two amazing dudes, like that definitely helps a lot. She knows that I need to love her from afar, you know, and she definitely does respect that, you know, and when she's ready, she's ready. But for right now, she's still doing her best.
What are some ways that you've chosen to get healthy in that relationship? What are some changes you've made that are allowing you to show up as a better you in that relationship?
I guess trying as much as I can not to be around her when she's high.
That's hard sometimes, huh?
It definitely is. I mean, I used to be really codependent on my mom, and I know that she's really codependent on me. We both know that is for the best, that I'm living my life, and I'm doing everything I need to do right now.
And Mom, if you're listening to this, or if you ever do, I've been working with Jordan as his coach for months and months. He loves you so deeply. You know, initially, sometimes the distance we ask from our loved ones, it really is the tough love. And I know, Mr. JRock, that one of your primary motivations is to make your mom proud. And that's why you do a lot of what you do, is to inspire her, because she has done some really great things for you too.
Yeah, I definitely need to show her that everything that she's done for me in my life, and I know that she's done a lot of things. She has loved me unconditionally. She has pointed me in the right directions multiple times. She has put me in programs. She has helped me with places to stay. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for that. Extremely grateful. And I need to stay sober so that way I can show her that.
Boom. I have got to stay sober so I can show her that. That's love.
Yes, it is.
The best apology is changed behavior. Showing your mom love, spelled SOBER, big deal. You had a kind of a magical way of kind of reconnecting with your dad in a healthy way too, didn't you, recently?
Yes. The week before Father's Day, I went out to lunch with my dad. I mean, I haven't seen my dad in probably 2 years. Me and my dad used in our active addictions together. There wasn't very many proud moments, you know. I pushed him away. I pushed him really far away because I know that a lot of times my relapses has been from hanging out with him. It usually led back to a relapse, and it wasn't a risk for the first several months of my recovery that I was willing to take. But on Father's Day, I spent the day with him, my grandma, and my little brother, and I don't regret it at all. I had an amazing day, you know. My dad's best friend just passed away 2 weeks ago. That's really hard on him, you know. But the only thing I could do is actually be there for him. I haven't been there for him for the last 2 years, but now I'm sober. Now I'm in my right mindset. Now I'm able to really help him.
I think also a major notice needs to happen is you have inspired some of those changes. You know, you were actually there for them by being there for you. And by being there for you first, put you in a place to inspire and lead and really influence change in your family on a massive scale.
The only thing I have control over is my own story. They have their own stories, you know, but I definitely can show them that what I have learned along the way in my story, along my way, my adventure. And it's up to them if they want to follow in the same footsteps, you know, which I know that my mom looks up to me. She used to write me some really amazing letters that I really love and I hold to my heart.
And, you know, sometimes I think when she kind of dumps on you a little bit, it's because she knows and she can trust that you're not going to take it personal, that she just needs to kind of work through it and that you'll come back with love and problem solving and figure it out.
Exactly.
I assigned you to read The Way of the Warrior Kid by Jocko Willink. Tell me about that.
That was an extremely good book that really fit my recovery. Like, it pretty much was a story of my recovery, you know. It was about this uncle that came down and visited his little nephew for the summer. His little nephew used to get bullied a lot in school. And like, he didn't know how to swim. He couldn't do one pull-up. There's a lot of things that he struggled with. And his uncle was able to help him get strong, help him learn how to swim, and just help him overcome obstacles that he was bullied for. Working out is being a huge thing, taking care of my body, changing the way I lived, changing everything about me, you know what I mean? And I had to train myself for months on everything I've learned. I had to pick up skills that I never thought that I'd know, and I had to utilize them.
You being teachable and workable, I think, is a huge secret, is one of the ways you've stayed in a path of progress for the last year.
My Uncle Jake was pretty much like therapist, you know what I mean? A lot of people I look up to in recovery, my life coach, it's a lot of people that help me along the way. And that's kind of as a spirit guide.
You had an experience where somebody that you really looked up to in recovery ended up relapsing and needing you to reach out and be their Uncle Jake. How was that? What was that like? And Uncle Jake is a character in the book, which is kind of the guru. That I gave you a kid's book to read, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it. That was awesome. That is awesome, and I'm so glad it was. How did it feel to become you were inspired by somebody that then you needed to lift them up? It was hard for you, right?
It was definitely hard going through that. I'm just really glad that he was alive. He did have an overdose, but he made it back, and he did the next right thing afterwards. I really do look up to that, and I know that he looks up to me. We have a great relationship still. He made his way back to Utah. He's doing incredible in his recovery right now. And I can never I'm so freaking proud of him. I know that he's proud of me. He's family.
Yeah, and you've had the opportunity to be an influence on the whole family, huh?
Yes. I got his wife into this program, and that has been such an experience, incredible experience. She's pretty much like my second mom. Jason's pretty much like my second dad.
It's unique to have such a young gun influence older people. And I've really appreciated and observed how you let people who are older than you have some of your young energy. And I think that's really brought some aliveness and vitality to people around you.
It definitely still comes back to being myself,
Giving your gift.
Yeah, giving my gift. Being myself has everything to do with giving my gift. It has everything to do with people looking up to me. I have to be genuine, that's very important.
And I like how you're not letting it go to, it's really not about you, it's about God and the gifts you have, and giving those, not about who you are.
Exactly. God gave us choices. That's the only thing he really gave us, and we have power over our choices. We got to make the right next choice,
Yeah, and consequences are real.
Yes, they are.
And option 2, learn from your choices and your mistakes as you go along. Coming up to big milestones, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 9 months, year. What are you feeling?
More myself than ever, more alive than ever, more proud than ever, more grateful than ever. I feel connected with myself and with everybody around me, with nature itself, with God. I definitely feel powerful.
So I get that. And as you've gotten closer to this, I've gotten just mostly excitement from you, enthusiasm, anticipation, really proud of yourself. How do you stay alive and enthusiastic without becoming overconfident?
Locking up my ego, I guess.
What does that mean? Locking up your ego, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So the question is, I've seen you alive and excited, enthusiastic, looking forward to it, proud of yourself. So as you come to these milestones, how do you distinguish and stay alive and excited but not become overconfident?
By continuing to have self-love days, by continuing to have fun in every moment I possibly can. That's huge for me, Boredom is a big reason that people relapse. It would definitely be a reason I would relapse, So keeping myself active helps me grow.
And active, you mean like working out or going for hikes or working? What do you mean?
I mean, being involved with people around me, people in recovery, going to do things that I never thought I would experience. I'm about to go skydiving for my year. I never thought I'd ever do that.
One thing you said too is you've learned is a red flag of yours is when you start fibbing, then you know that you're heading down the path of messing up.
Yes. When we all come into recovery with a bunch of character defects, and we need to learn to become aware of them. We have to evolve from them and change them and grow from them, And I know that sometimes I'll catch myself in with small lies that are pointless, And it's up to me to be aware of it, to correct it, and to try not to do it again. And if I do it again, don't blame myself for it. Don't have shame for it, you know what I mean? Like, we're not perfect. It's progress, not perfection.
You've adopted one of the axioms of being impeccable with your word. What is the payoff with being impeccable with your word when you could tell a fib and get what you wanted in the short term? What have you learned is the value of deciding to be impeccable and honest instead of telling, they're just small lies, but avoiding that?
Being able to be open and not judged, I guess. People are able to trust me. I'm able to trust myself. It's not a block in the road, I'm able to continue going straight on my path. I know that small little lies will stop you for a second, and it's up to me to just tear down that brick, throw that brick and just keep moving on.
I like that analogy, brick by brick to make it stick. And same with dismantling it, brick by brick, and you stay on the yellow brick road of progress, of recovery, right? One connection I'm seeing here is when you decided to value the connection to yourself more than what others thought, you found love and you found purpose. And I'm seeing that when you say that too. When I connect with honesty, I don't judge myself and I'm not judged by others. And so I'm free to be me. That's a huge, huge payoff.
And being able to be vulnerable and to let people know the truth, and I know that when you're vulnerable, when you let people know the truth, that they're understanding. We're not all perfect. We should all be okay with that.
Well, and you've attracted people that support you. Team JRock, winning, finding a way. I really like that your body too is not anxious around this year. I feel there's some calmness and some confidence. Had it been showing up that you're anxious, and if you're anxious or fearful, then you're more likely to attract, messing up or relapse and whatnot, and that's not coming up.
It all has to do with putting my recovery in first priority.
So what does a year and a month look like? What would you, if you were back on the podcast a month from now, what would you like to say has happened? Speak to us from the future.
I just barely started my hepatitis C treatment yesterday. I would like to be cured with hepatitis C, get all my health issues figured out. I would like to maybe get a raise or two at work, and continue just doing my best, I like to live in the moment, and I like to do my best. That's what I live by.
What opportunities to use have come up? How did you choose to act?
By doing the next right thing. I'm definitely going to continue doing therapy. I'm definitely going to continue going to groups. I enjoy this stuff, and I'm okay with doing therapy for the rest of my life because I have changed a lot since my first month sober.
Therapy rocks, period.
Yep.
And it's for everybody when you're going through whatever you're going through.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. Therapy has helped me so much.
We're a month out. What do relationships look like with you?
There's going to be no change. Like, my relationships with everybody around me is perfect right now, and I don't want that to change. So I'm just going to continue doing the things I do right now.
What do the relationships with your friendships look like? You've got some great roommates that you've attracted. What does that look like a month from now?
Having 100% trust in them, continuing to laugh and do fun things together, continuing to help each other, support each other, be there for each other, and just having open communication with each other.
I want to add to that, winning together. You're going to have some trials of adversity. It has to happen to test it, right? I'd like to see you back in a month saying, we went through trials of adversity and we didn't do it perfect, but we did it, and we're still winning together. What about relationships with girls? What does that look like a month from now? I know having relationships with women is important to you, and it's an area that you want to continue to grow and grow into. What does that look like from a month from now?
I would say it's not first priority right now or really a priority right now. I'm not sure if I'm in the right mindset or like mind state to have a relationship and be steady with it. Cause right now, like, even though I have a year sober, there's still so much work to do. Before I'm ready for a relationship, I know that I need to get something. I need to change a few things, you know?
Yeah, and just get some time too, I think, under your belt and managing the other part of life as you grow into it. Yeah, I know that's a big question I just threw you, and I'm proud of you for lobbing it back and really going there with me, because you know how we do. We do love. We do all the way. We're in it to win it, period. Always been proud of the work we do. What is your ability to engage with your emotions look like a month from now? How has that grown?
Well, since my very first month, I did not know how to have a connection with my emotions. I mean, I cried for the first time 2 weeks ago and this whole year. I definitely feel like I've torn down some walls that I had up when it came down to my emotion. I'm definitely feel more connected. I'm definitely feeling like I'm feeling emotions I haven't felt for a very long time. Starting to understand emotions. In a month, who knows, you know? Like, I'm just going to continue looking at or doing the work, and we'll see where it goes.
There's somebody out there listening to this. Your voice, your story is for them. Any final thoughts, insights, encouragements you want to share before we bring this awesome podcast to a close? Do you feel good about this?
Oh, I definitely do.
You're smooth, well-spoken, articulate. Good job.
The one thing I'd like to say is that you don't have to be old to go into recovery and get sober. I'm 22 years old, and I don't see a life with drugs anymore. I never thought that would happen. You know, we youngins are definitely capable of doing this. You know, we just got to put in the work, and we just got to do the next right thing.
What else?
Have a connection with yourself, trust yourself, continuing to do work, showing up physically, but also emotionally and spiritually.
Nice.
Spirituality is huge. I could not sweat how important spirituality is. I went through 9 programs, and I didn't even understand spirituality until this year. And once I had a connection with spirituality, I know that's when the real progress started coming in.
I'll notice you for making it work for you. You didn't try and figure out and adopt somebody else's. You allowed it to develop and evolve inside you. So it's your practice.
Exactly. My spirituality is different than other people's spirituality, you know, but my spirituality works for me, and that's all that matters.
What does winning together come to mean for you?
Supporting one another, you know. People say, like, this is kind of a predicament in recovery. People say that recovery is a selfish thing, but I don't 100% believe that. I mean, some things, yes, but I definitely feel like we're able to help one another. We're not able to do this alone, you know. I couldn't go to a program just by myself and make all the progress I made this year.
Right.
I need everybody around me. I need the connections. I need to meet new people. I need to build a sober network. I just need to continuing to have fun and loving everybody around me.
I can't sweat enough having fun. It's really important to have good fun that connects with who you are.
Exactly. I mean, I never knew how to have fun before this year. I have done things I never thought I'd ever be able to do. You know, there's a time where you need to be serious, and there's a time where you can let your inner child out.
Well said.
You just got to know which one's the right time.
Well said. I love being your coach. I love doing rad stuff with you. I love the energy you bring, the effort you bring, and I'm really proud of the work that not only you do, but also that you've inspired those around you to do. Thank you for being here. How enjoyable. How awesome. I can't wait for you to listen to this and share it. And anyone listening that this resonates, connects, inspires, share it, or don't. Don't subscribe. Don't share. Don't whatever. Or option to call 801-407-9998 or find I Am Recovery, imrtc.com on the web. This is Shay, the Coach Azlet with JRock, Jam and Recovery. Thanks for being here, bro.
Thank you, Shay. This is an amazing experience.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great day. We win together.